Hi, I'm Tracy Smith with the Sharp Investor. What we do is we come in and we rescue projects where the rehab is failing. We step in, we finish it, we get it sold to protect the real estate investor's capital as fast as possible and gain the highest return. Come check out our newest project. Here we are at 155 Kiva, walking into the courtyard area where we've got the fountain. This is the updated gates we're going to be doing, and this is the fountain area with the courtyard. We've got all new concrete with turf here, but we're going to update this fountain. We're going to clean it up, get it in proper working order, so you have this ambiance as you walk into the main house and before you open the doors into the main living area. As we go inside, all of these floors were installed incorrectly. They need to come up, new baseboards, new tile throughout. And we're going to correct the cabinetry issues with the gapping and the installation. We're going to remedy that, correct the island slab, get it up to par with the corbels on the end. And as we come through, you can see the floors just everywhere through here. I mean, non-existent. The installation is just atrocious. I mean, they try to do patchwork, and they're not glued down properly. Things are just very, very haphazard and done poorly here all the way through. You can see the waves and the ripples throughout the whole house. As we move into the kitchen, you can see that we have gapping issues in the cabinetry. We have, I mean, just bad workmanship. We have, this is an easy adjustment on the doors, but we have cracks and we have damage and we just have bad installation here. And then we have, you know, on the island, we have some poor honing and polishing work there. And as we come along, you can see the same thing is consistent throughout all the cabinetry. We have nail holes, we have damage to the doors, we have somewhere where they tried to sand and paint pieces of the finished cabinetry. This is not acceptable. This is not what you get in a luxury home when you come in and you want to buy a finished product. And again, the same problem continues on through here. We have damaged floor, we have flooring that's just not up to the level. This floor right here, when I step on it, you can hear it. The glue's not even adhering to the ground. We'll clean up the windows where they got all the drywall stuff. They've got all the drywall finish on it and the paint. We're gonna get all that polished up, cleaned up, get the seals on the glass finished and get it completed and get this house up to the price point where it needs to be. If you follow me back here, we're going to go into the laundry area, go into the second bedroom, into the pantry. Got a little hallways butler pantry here. Not bad at all in some things, but they made the mistake. They drilled on the wrong side and they just left the door where it was at. Rather than repairing it or replacing the door, they just decided to try to fill the holes and paint it. Not acceptable craftsmanship in this. And we come into this suite here, this bedroom suite. Again, if you look across this floor, you can see the gaps and the ripples in the floor and where the seams don't line up. And you can see, if we look right here, you can see this whole floor travel up and it's just bad. And you can see the gap, the putty jobs that they tried to put in here. This is the stuff that we come in and we fix. We're gonna rip all this out. We're gonna make sure that this house is ready for the end user. And the trim work in this house is just horrible. You've got joints that don't add up. The caulking job is just bad. And then the one thing we're going to really replace here is we're going to see this throughout the whole house. These sinks. While this is a nice sink in a half bath for just a powder room, it doesn't work in a functional bathroom. If you come in and you have someone of a smaller stature, this is up to their chest and it just is not a very functional sink for what you want. And they're actually not very expensive and they just don't fit the overall motif and the style that we're looking for here. And as you come into the shower, here we've got about a half-inch gap coming up here. This is a trip hazard here, so we're gonna fix this, remove the shower door, get this down to a level plane. That way when you come into the shower, it's all good and you walk in and you have one step rather than this trip hazard when you come in. And as you come in, you can notice you have just varying grout lines with everything. I mean, we go from a 16th to an 1/8. And then we have, you know, nothing square or true. You've got a chip out of the tile there. They just put it back in there and they didn't even have any concern for it. You look at the trim pieces, same thing. I mean, you've got no finished detail here at all. So we're gonna make sure that all that is rectified and that this house is ready to hit the market. No closet rods, no finished carpentry was done inside the closets. We'll get all that ready for the end user. Follow me out here. We'll go into this laundry area. And again, the floor all the way through, you can see it. It has this ripple effect, and it just doesn't work. And again, look at all the overspray and the damage to the windows that we have to come back and correct. It's really just a sad thing to see. And actually, all the exhaust fans, all the work that's been put into this house, all these exhaust fans are the originals. So all this work that's been put in, and they didn't take the time to put in $120 to $149 exhaust fan. I mean, a couple $100,000 renovation budget, and you shortchange on $600 for that. Just doesn't make sense to me. So we're gonna turn right around here, and we're gonna go into the dining room. And we're gonna look in the dining room, and you can see, we've got holes in the walls. Those are easy fixes, but you notice the light rail across the top here, and you see it, it's visible. I mean, there's a light back there. They've oversprayed over the light. They've painted it. It doesn't even function anymore. And it's supposed to be indirect lighting that comes out and gives an ambiance into this dining room. It doesn't exist anymore. We have to bring that up, and we have to get that to where it needs to be. So if you guys follow me, we're gonna come back down this way, back through the living room area. We're gonna take a look at the fireplace. From there, you could probably notice that we have uneven tile. And I mean, just the overall craftsmanship and the work done here, we can see the visible lips and the pour installation that was done here, as well as they ran all of their mortar and their overlay over here inside the fireplace. And I mean, it's just not a very professional finish there, and we'll get that rectified as well. We're gonna go over here into the media room and then the hall bath. As we come to the hall bath, we're gonna yank out this floor, make it consistent all the way through. You've got gaps and you've got different things. This is a trip hazard. None of this is level here. And then we have, the pattern doesn't line up. One over here, we've got an 1/8 inch high and a 16th gap to an 1/8 inch gap over a 2-foot span. Just not what you would expect in this type of home. We're gonna move down, keep going down the hall. And again, you can see all the gaps and the cracks in the floor as you come along. We're gonna move into the media room. Again, this is where you're really gonna notice the floors the most, where they tried to putty in the holes. You can see this gray putty. Like, I don't know if they didn't think that would be noticeable or what. You can tell they tried to sand the finish without ever finishing it out. I mean, they've got it all over here where they didn't do a proper install on the floor, and they tried to cover it up. I mean, to the tune of $40,000 probably in flooring that this is going to all have to be ripped out and be replaced. We're going to wrap up the wiring under the media system so we can get it finished up, and we will get this set up so it's a secondary media room, a little entertainment sanctuary for the final owner of the house. And we'll come in here. We got a Jack and Jill bathroom here. And in this bath, same thing. We've got a 1/2 inch. This one's actually a little taller, close to 5/8 tripping hazard as you walk in. And then we have the same issues in all the tile work. When I rub my hand across this tile in a shower that's done, I should be able to run smooth. I've got a tile that's sticking out an 1/8 inch here. I've got a tile that goes from here that's got a 16th gap sticking out an 1/8 inch, and we've got almost a 1/4 inch down here. I mean, just no attention to detail when this was being done, and to me, that's just not acceptable. Same thing everywhere. I mean, we've got damage to the windows that all has to be cleaned up, and just again, like we said in the other bathrooms, we get this, and this is just not acceptable. These are even a lower grade than the other ones that we looked at in the other bathroom. This is probably like an $80 sink in a house that's going to be well over $2 million. Just doesn't fit the neighborhood or the desired finish that we would want in a home. Okay, so now we're leaving the Jack and Jill. We're coming into the next bedroom into the house. Okay, so this bedroom, all in all, I mean, it's not that hard. You can't screw it up too much, but yet they seem to do it. Again, the floor, you can see the waves, and you can trip right here some of the unlevel planks in this floor. They just total damage to these doors. They just have drywall stuff everywhere. I mean, just no masking, no preparation in protecting anything in this house. And that's not what we do. For me, at the Sharp Investor, my goal is to come in and just clean this stuff up and to get this project back on track so the investors make money, so we can get this house on the market as soon as possible so we can make optimal return for their money. And we're gonna come out here back into the hallway, and we're gonna walk into the master bedroom. As you come to the master, you can really see where they messed up this floor. As you take a look, I mean, they tried to cut this out and to get a patch in there. The problem when you do that is when you cut that patch out, you're never going to get it to be like it would need to be to meet the manufacturer's spec. When you cut this tongue, this is the tongue and this is the groove side. They've cut this tongue off on this side, and now there's a tongue here. Once this is cut, your warranty's void. So this whole floor, the warranty's void. So it probably had a 10-year to 20-year warranty. It's done as of right there. That's why we're gonna rip it out from wall to wall, all through the house, and we're gonna refinish it. We have issues here. I mean, if you take a look here, we've got all these fine-tune issues that just disregard people damaging the doorways and things as they were installing them or as they were working on other products. And it just is not acceptable as to the quality of the finish this house needs to be. Got another fireplace here. This one's actually installed relatively well. I'll give them credit for that. However, it does not fit the overall finish that this house would need. This is probably about $1.75 a square foot tile. Run down to your average Home Depot, get it, ceramic tile right off the rack. Nothing wrong with that. However, it doesn't meet the finishes that we would want in this house. And again, you can see the floor damage in this room. The drywall damage is what really gets me. The amount of drywall dust and mud that they get on these windows is absolutely astonishing to me, but we'll get it all cleaned up, and you'll see in the next 3 to 4 weeks, you'll see the difference that this house is gonna make. We're gonna go into the master bath now and kind of wrap this thing up, and I'll show you guys what we're looking at. As you come in, first thing you notice is you notice a chip right here in the floor, and this little tile that's 6 inches, 7 inches wide is a 1/4 inch or an 1/8 inch out of square, just that little tile. So if you have this one tile that's an 1/8 inch out of square, imagine what it's gonna do by the time you get all over here. So you have the seams touching here when you're only 2 feet away. It's just unbelievable the disregard for quality here. And as we come along, we got the same vessel sinks, and it just doesn't meet the standard. You can see the gaps in the cabinetry here. So we're gonna have to take the countertop off, which I'm not upset about because it's poorly installed in the first place. And we're going to correct all this. We're gonna remedy this. We're gonna bring a little bit more high-end feel and a custom finish to this to really bring it up and bring it where we want it to be. This house has a decent walk-in closet. It's actually got a good sized walk-in closet. We'll finish this out with custom shelving, and we'll get it completely dialed in, and we'll leave the floor safe in for the finished buyer that's over here. Last couple things here is when we get into the bathtub, it's just the details. Again, look at the attention to detail. When you walk in and you're gonna get a house that's over a $2 million mark, you don't wanna see this caulking line all crooked and jagged, and you don't wanna see a tile sticking up an 1/8 inch over everything else. This has to be done with meticulous detail to make sure that it doesn't catch anybody's eye and everybody's happy. And we're gonna do the last thing here in the shower. This is the really noticeable part. You can see this gap, how it travels. It gets smaller to larger and then down to a 0 over here. Just no attention to detail here. And we're gonna make sure that this is all remedied. We're looking at about a 4 to 6 week rescue, and we're looking at about a $90,000 budget to clean it all up. That was 155 Kiva here at Bighorn Golf Resort. We're gonna step in, rescue this project, save the investor's capital, partnering with Paradigm in order to get this thing done. I'll see you next time.